Hey everyone, welcome to Made for Monday episode 6, and today we're going to talk about a few things. Today we're going to talk about some illustrations that I created within Affinity Designer. And the illustration that I created is actually of my face and my headshot to kind of continue branding the mistercreate.today brand. And it's also kind of to roll into some of the education that I want to provide, including like these YouTube videos, as well as like the materials from the blog posts to any type of informational material that I want to provide. I want to brand it so that you know where it's coming from and that I can kind of completely package it all for you. So created an illustration for that, and also we're going to show you some things that I've been working on for a client that utilizes Knack. And I've talked about Knack a little bit. It's a software that allows you to create web applications online and then embed them into your Webflow project. Well, I created a little sketch of my headshot. Let's check it out and see what we got, and then we'll jump into Affinity Designer. So as you can see, I only took one pass at the sketch. I wanted to make it really quick and then jump into Affinity Designer. As you can see, I just wanted to highlight some features such as my curly hair, my bushy eyebrows, my mustache, and kind of also my glasses as well. Many people comment in regards to the blue that they have on them because they reflect blue light. So I really wanted to add that in there as well. And this idea came from taking the Ryan Putnam Skillshare class. He created some very awesome and organic illustrations, and it's something that I wanted to add into my brand. So let's jump into Affinity Designer and see what we created. Alrighty, so as you can see, I'm at the Skillshare class that Ryan Putnam provided. They provided my inspiration, or the inspiration, for the avatar that I wanted to create. You can see some more of Ryan Putnam's work on Instagram, and he created some very awesome, really clean and cool organic illustrations. Let's jump into our Affinity Designer project and see how I brought these illustrations to life. So as you can see, I started out with a screen capture of my smiling face, and then I took some of the elements in that screen capture and highlighted them in the avatar. So my first stab at it from, if you take the Skillshare class, he will kind of take you through step by step just building the avatar. So my first step was creating my face and the eyes. First I created the eyes, and the way I created the eyes, very simple. If you haven't used Affinity Designer, it's very much like an Illustrator. And I created the eyes just by utilizing a circle, then creating a triangle. Create a triangle here. There we go. Created a triangle, turned it on its side, and then I moved it to the front, aligned it, and then simply subtracted it to create this kind of iconic old school Disney Mickey Mouse eyed look. And it's something that Ryan Putnam highlighted. I thought it'd be pretty cool to add that little nod in my illustration as well. So I started with the eyes, started with the glasses. I also wanted to make sure that it was a friendly face. So I added these kind of a smile cheek feature onto the face. And then I worked on the lips. As you can see, they started out, and each time I kind of moved along the design and maybe tweaked it a little bit more. You can see a slight difference between the glasses here. I had eyebrows. I even manipulated the lips a little bit more, lined it up, started working on the facial hair, and then I even went a little bit further. Glasses slightly tweaked here as well, added some stubble along the face. And what's cool about Affinity Designer is the way that you can easily create repeating patterns. I've used Illustrator before, and there's nothing been more easy to create than patterns within Affinity Designer. So as you can see here, this was one of the ideas that made it out into the world, but there was still some things that I wanted to fix. But before we go into that, I wanted to show you how I created this stubble pattern. So let's say, for instance, we wanted to make a pattern within a triangle. And let's say this triangle is white. And inside this triangle, we wanted to, so I'm in my layers panel, and I'm in my triangle shape that I just created. But what if I wanted to create like this dot pattern within my triangle? So first I'd make a circle, or my first dot, give it a color, and then size it the way I would want. And then, as you can see, I can grab this shape and place it inside the triangle. And to make sure that I get it in a place that I can see it, let's move it over here. It's right here, and then inside the triangle. So to make a repeating pattern, say I want to have a repeating pattern that goes from this side and all the way up to the top. So what I would do is I would just option and then slide it over however many pixels I want, and then I can just command J, and it will repeat the same space that I had between the last one. And then what I would do is I would just grab all of these, put these into a group, and then I would option and drag this up however I feel fit. I might even make it, put it in like a little angle there, kind of offset it. Then if I command J, oh, let's see here. If I command J after I move it, command J, going too far. So I'm command Z right now, getting it back. Just make sure I have extra groups here. So let me delete these groups. Now I have the one group, and if I copy it, put it at an angle, command J, there we go. As you can see, it repeats the pattern all the way up. Now what I want to do is make sure that this pattern is equal across. So I'll put this into a group by command G. Then I will select this group and slide it over so that it is equal in pattern to the pattern below it. Make that a pattern, and then I will command and slide this up. I believe it is 6. Let's see here. Might be 4. What's the difference here? 3.4. So let's see here. 4.3. Slide it down. There we go. And now I have a pattern, and I can group this pattern all together into one group, and there it is. Now I have a pattern within the shape. I can even take this group outside of this shape and reuse it wherever I like. So this is that pattern inside that triangle shape. I can even make this into a symbol. And what's really cool about symbols is these are ways that people create these very, very detailed patterns, is they put them into a symbol. And I'll save that for another video. So let's continue on. So as you can see, in my next iteration, I did some more details, added some color here and there, and then I even worked on the throat. As you can see, I added an Adam's apple here, and worked on the t-shirt a little bit, showed it to my wife. She said I was a little bit too full in the face, so I slimmed down on this one. As you can see, I brought in the jawline and tweaked. I realized I was missing my my ear posts on my glasses, so I added the ear posts. And then in this iteration, I took the white border off. Then it just didn't feel right in regards to the mustache. It just wasn't lining up, just felt odd. And also I felt like my throat and neck was a little odd. So I kind of reduced the height of my head, or rather the how tall, how high it was above the neck. And I also rounded out the mustache to kind of more to bring out that feature a little bit more, but also to make sure that it followed the contour of my lips a little bit more naturally. And so this is where we finally ended up. And after creating this, I exported it as an SVG and then added it to my project. As you can see here, this is not ix2 I'm using. This was a design that I implemented before ix2 was created. So this is a little JavaScript on the background that kind of makes it move and slide off to the right. So now this is now added into my branding, and I'm really excited to continue using this when I share more information and more tutorials on Knack. I've even updated my Twitter page. I've got it on my Twitter as well as my Instagram. So I'm really excited about using this new design. And then lastly, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Knack app. Tell them a little bit more about the Knack app. Okay, I'll tell them. Alright, so you may have heard me talk about Knack a few times and may have seen me post about it on the forum a couple times. And what Knack is it's a way to create web applications on the web at knack.com. And then after creating those applications, you can embed them into a Webflow project. But instead of talking about it, let's jump into a project to see what it's like. Alrighty, so right now we're in the back end of my Knack account, and as you can see, I have a few applications that I'm already working on, but the one I want to show you is the one that I am presenting to a client here in the next few days. And the way you can think of Knack applications are they're separated between the data and the pages. In the data, you can create objects or users, and in pages, you can create any type of page and sub pages within your application. So let's first talk about the data, and within the data, how you can separate objects and users. Users are anything that you would like to provide access into your applications, and objects are the data that is either input or that you input into your application. So let's first look at this object that I created. This object is going to allow users to search for schools based on the zip code. And as you can see, I've already entered in quite a few, and the way I structured it is that I structured it with the field types that Knack provides, such as short text, address, phone, links, and a multiple choice. And all of them have certain data that I wanted to capture within those field types. And then I can embed a page that I create. I can jump to the correct one. I can embed a page by simply going into the settings and then setting up these settings here, going into embed. Now I can create an embed of a map. Since I've already done that, all I would need to do is go into my embed code, select the embed that I've created, and add it into my Webflow project. And now we're into our Webflow project, and as you can see here, this is one of the many applications that this project is going to have, and this one is the calendar. And also we are going to take a look at the school finder or school locator based on the application that I just showed you. And the live app looks like this. So we are on the About Us page where the application lives. And if I put a zip code, this is a Texas zip code, 76028, give it a radius to search within, and then click search, you can see it will search and it will query through the application that we created, show a map, and then also the details that I have set up within my application. It's pretty cool. This is one reason, and one of the many reasons why I'm excited to present Knack to you, and hopefully you'll find more and different reasons to take advantage of Knack. So This is all I wanted to provide for Made for Monday. Now let's have a proper goodbye. Pretty cool. So today we talked about a couple things. We talked about the illustration that I created in Affinity Designer. Hopefully seeing some of the things that I can create and how to create them within Affinity can inspire you to try some things. Again, I am not an illustrator by any means, but it's something that I enjoy doing. I picked up sketching and stuff in high school, so I always enjoy kind of stretching my creativity so that it can be fun for other designs that I create. Also, we talked about Knack and how I created a web application for a calendar as well as a school search form. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below.